everybody, and welcome to this new video. Today I want to talk about how my reading habits are doing and what I want to do to improve them in 2026. Because that is something that I really thought about over the course of the last few weeks, over the change of the years. Whenever a new year arrives, you think about what you want to improve about yourself, even though, of course, not everything always works out, and it doesn't have to work out. But reading is definitely something that I want to spend more time doing this year. So, to be honest, I don't have any stats for 2025 because I didn't necessarily track my reading. I mean, I don't even know how many books I read, not even like approximately. I didn't really pay attention to that. The only thing that I know is that I didn't really read as much as I would have wanted to, because I do say that reading is one of my hobbies, but it is quite hard sometimes to just, or at least for me, it's quite hard sometimes to just find the motivation to like really open a book. Even though I would really love to, and I always enjoy reading whenever I do it. But yeah, I don't know, it really was a struggle last year. So 2026 is my year for more reading. So I did some counting. I counted all the books that I have in my bookshelf and just like, laying around. And I counted that I'm currently semi-actively reading 6 books, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute. And then I counted my TBR. And yeah, I have 44 books on my like active TBR list. Like it's not even like my whole TBR list, to be honest, because there are so many books that I want to read, of course, that I take pictures of whenever I'm like at a bookstore and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. Then I just take pictures and put it on my, well, it's not an existing list, but in my head I'm like, oh, I want to read this book at some point, if you know what I mean. But yeah, books that I have at home and that I want to read, there's 44 of them, which is, well, not as much as some other people have on the TBR, but for me it's a bit, yeah, it's a lot. Because as we know, buying books is a separate hobby from reading books, and I take it very seriously. Yeah, but I would like to read a lot of the books that I have on my TBR and in my bookshelf. So that is something that I would like to focus on as well this year. So now I'm going to talk about the 6 books that I'm like semi-actively reading. And the first one is A Language of Dragons by S.F. Williamson. It's the author's first book, I believe, and it is very shiny, if you can see that, and it's like colored on the sides. And I think it's very pretty. I didn't even realize the thing on the sides when I bought it, but I was very positively surprised when I actually looked at it. I only bought it because it said dragons, and I really like dragons, so that's why I have it. It is about a young woman who takes part in a war between humans and dragons, and she really likes studying dragon languages, and she's very interested in dragons, and she's forced to help the government with some stuff to save her family. And I'm not entirely halfway through. It is a good book. I really like it so far. But it's just, yeah, something that I started and then I just put it down, and then I forget about it, start another book, and then it's just a never-ending circle thing. The second book is one of the 2 books I'm very actively reading right now, and it's called Iowa by Stephanie Sargnagel. She's an author from Austria. She's very funny. Yeah, this is a book about her travels to, Iowa, to teach some students there, and she went there with like a friend who is a singer from Germany, and I really like her writing. It is very, very funny, and I'm doing quite well. I think I don't know when I started reading it, like at the end of last year. But yeah, I'm kind of far along, if you can see that. I really like the bookmark that's in it. I can show you that. It is a little tea bag. I got that for Christmas from one of my best friends, and I love it. It is very nice. She also made the bookmark that's in A Language of Dragons, which is this. Very nice. I love it. The third book, and the second one that I'm very actively reading, mainly because it is from the library, so it's not my copy. It's I Hope This Finds You Well by Natalie Sue. It is about a depressed woman who works at an office, and she really hates her job, and she makes a mistake at work and gets caught, and then is forced to work with the HR guy, and she has a lot of issues with communicating with her colleagues, and it's sometimes a bit maybe dark, but also very funny, I think. And it's also a debut novel, actually, apparently. It's the first book of Natalie Sue. I borrowed it from the library, so there's a certain deadline for me, which is maybe a good thing to motivate me to pick the book up. Then book number 4 is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. It's about a barbarian orc who has had enough of killing monsters and stuff, and she opens up a cafe in a little village. And so far it is pretty wholesome, like I'm not even halfway through. It's actually a very cozy book, and I think it's nice. I gotta say, it's been a while since I last picked it up, because, I don't know, got stuck in the circle of starting other books and then putting others down, and then book number 5 is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmes. I mainly bought the book because I saw that there's a TV show like made because of this book with Brie Larson in it, and I really like Brie Larson. And that's why I wanted to like read the book first before I would watch the show. But I haven't finished the book yet, so the show's gotta wait a little bit. It has been some time also since I last read it, so I've been thinking of maybe just restarting, like going again from the start, because I did actually like it when I read it. So maybe to refresh my memory, I will just start again. I will see. Then book number 6 is a really short book, actually. It's called Orbital by Samantha Harvey. It's a book about a few astronauts who are floating around in space and observing Earth. And yeah, you can read about them having their thoughts about Earth and like the existence of humanity in general. I am not even halfway through. It is actually, like, this one is actually embarrassing that I'm not through yet, because it is very, very, very short. I have, to be honest, I have been thinking about just abandoning it, because it just didn't grip me the way I thought it would, or I hoped it would, because the reason I bought it, because Ruby Granger recommended it, and I thought, oh, I will absolutely try this out if she recommends that. So I went to Waterstones in London actually, and I bought it. And actually, I think I started reading it right there at the cafe at Waterstones. And then I read a little bit here and there. But yeah, as you can see, I am not done yet. So while there have been thoughts about abandoning it, I believe I still will finish it though, or do my best to finish it, just because it is really not a long book. I think if it like was a longer book, I would abandon it because I wouldn't want to dedicate that much time to it. But maybe it will grip me in the second half of it. So now I want to talk about how I'm actually planning on improving my reading habits this year. I mean, there are a few different strategies that one could maybe use to achieve that. And I will try some of them, and then I will also try to document them and share them with you and see what works best for me. Because I'm sometimes struggling with keeping up regular routines. Like there's a strategy of just, putting aside 20 minutes before bed and like reading for like 20 minutes like as a set time, so you do it like daily. Well, my problem usually with those regular routines is that I do it for like a couple days or weeks even, then something comes in between, and then I don't do it for a couple of days, and then I just lose track of it, forget about it, and then it's all done and gone. I will maybe try again and see if recording it helps, if that kind of gives me the feeling of being watched. We can say that you are my accountability buddy of some sorts, because that is something that helps me quite a lot. I can really recommend that if you just get yourself an accountability buddy for whatever. If you want to do some writing, if you want to, paint more, or if you have to do some admin, you can invite a buddy, and then you can just hang out together and you each do the same thing, but by yourself, but you're together still in the same room, and then there's some nice peer pressure maybe to actually do the thing, and you actually, or I personally feel way more motivated and inspired whenever I have an accountability buddy. The one thing that's like not great about accountability buddies is you don't have time every time the other person may want to do some stuff. You may also have to do stuff by yourself. That's why I think you or the camera will be my accountability buddy. Then something that I thought would be a really good thing to help increase motivation for reading is just, setting up a particular spot for reading, making it like extra cozy and making it extra special. Just, like romanticizing it a little bit, like making a cup of tea, cup of coffee, providing some snacks, putting up some blankets, and then really preparing yourself for reading, making a ceremony of it or something. Or something that also makes like some very special time for me is just going to a cafe and sitting there with the book and just drinking coffee, maybe eating some cake. I mean, you can't do that every time you want to read, of course, but it does help to make it feel more like some special time for oneself. It's definitely something that you can do really nicely alone. Then something that I thought might be really good, really helpful, is to just borrow more books from a library and then have a deadline when you have to return the book, because deadlines help me personally to actually do things. Maybe towards the end of the deadline, but I do the things. So that was my idea, just to go more to the library and borrow more books from there. I mean, it's also good for saving money, I guess. It's like a win-win situation, basically. And then something else that I was thinking of, if people would be interested would be some live reading. Just, a live stream on YouTube or Twitch. And it's just some reading together, which is also like, well, accountability buddies. But since it's online and there might be more people, it would be maybe easier instead of asking friends if they have time. And then something that I'm definitely going to do, and I'm going to record it, is that I'm going to do a 6-hour reading challenge, because I've seen a bunch of videos of people doing 12-hour reading challenges or 24-hour reading challenges, but I think that's a bit much, or at least for the beginning, because my focus right now is just to get those 6 books done that are on my semi-actively reading list, and I think a 6-hour reading challenge would be really helpful for that. I think I might actually be able to get all of them finished during that time. That is definitely what I'm going to do. I'm going to record it, and I think it's going to be the next video on this channel, actually. I will see when I can spare the 6 hours to actually do it. But I will. And then the last thing that I was thinking about was starting again properly starting again with tracking my reading. And for that I already have an app on my phone. It's called Redo. I think it's made in Germany or something. It is a really good app for tracking your reading, making TBR lists, and reviewing books and seeing how other people or your friends have reviewed books that you might want to read. I've had this app on my phone for a while, but I really did not use it much in 2025 because I forgot at some point and then stopped doing it. But I was contemplating if I should try again or if it's just gonna end like the last time, but I am willing to give it another chance and see how it works out. I have already updated the app with the books that I'm currently reading. I will show you in like a month or so maybe how it looks, how many pages I've read over the next few weeks or months. So that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed the look into my reading habits, and maybe you found some tactics to improve your reading habits if you're planning to do so. So I'm going to do some 20 minutes of reading before bed now, and I hope you're having a great time, a great day or night, whatever time of day it is, and see you in the next video then. Bye bye.